Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to you, hopefully elect. And again, just through the spirit, I got two videos I want to play, just to show, because I'm gonna go ahead and get this real quick. And as I always say from time to time about how, most of these precepts that are brought out, for most, is preaching to the choir. And with that being said, it's like, it's almost a thing of just, we hear of certain precepts and we may not have the full understanding, but again, as I often say from time to time, because certain precepts, a lot of these precepts, they hit different as you grow, as you mature. As the Apostle Kabar often mentions, how the repetition being the father of skill. So, we may hear certain of the apostles and elders and certain brothers going through the same precepts from time to time over and over again. And sometimes in our minds, it's, like I said, it's just like, I've heard that, I've heard that 1,000 times already. But again, at the same time, another thing, another saying, so to say, that I be saying, another thing that I be thinking upon, meditating upon, because like I said, like I always say, when it comes to that experience, it's one thing to hear of the apostles and certain brethren talk about certain things as far as their experience. It's one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing when you actually have to go through experience itself. When we have to experience the experience itself, that's another ballpark. All right, that's a whole nother thing right there. So again, to tie it back to the topic, because a part of that experience is, again, going through living through these, because these Bible verses, this Bible, all right, as much as people want to, oh, that was the Old Testament, or that applied to back then, right? But little do these people know that the scriptures, the word of Yahweh Shema Shah, it outlasts kingdoms, all right? It outlasts time, all right? It outlasts time. You see, because one common saying, one of many common sayings, those were the biblical times. Those were in the Bible days. Well, believe it or not, we are still in the Bible days. All right, believe it or not. So these words, the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, they still apply to us. All right, from the Old Testament to the New. You see, so to tie it all back, bring it all back together again. As I say from time in and time out, when it comes to a lot of these precepts, these verses that we hear over and over again, they hit different when you actually have to, the more we grow, the more we come of understanding, the more we come of age in the spirit, the more we learn, the more wisdom dwells with us, so on and so forth. They hit different, they resonate different. So, and I just say that to say, because that's why I said in the beginning, like, to most, to those that have been listening for a while, it may be preaching to the choir, right? But to those that don't know, hey, well, Lord willing, this be edifying and uplifting and encouraging, and just be fuel to the sheep, to the flock. And again, I say all that to say, because just through the Spirit again, just through the Spirit, man, I just want to keep this simple, basic as much as possible. All right. Because a lot of these precepts, we again heard time in and time out, and and that's the thing with Jake. Jake gets bored real quick. They have like the saying goes, the memory of a goldfish. Jake, they want to be entertained. Jake, they don't want to hear they don't want to hear repetitiveness. They don't want to hear the same thing over and over and over, which that is the father of skill. So again, that's why as much as we hear these precepts time in and time out, nevertheless, they hit different more and more. All right. So again, just slow willing through the Spirit. Through the Spirit. I've got 2 videos that I want to play. All right. As far as America, aka Babylon, or Babylon, aka America, and how through and through this society is. You see, I'll say that again, as through and through, because it's one thing to be through, but it's another thing to be through and through, through and through, just to for the hell of it, because this place is done, man. It's done, and I'm just go ahead and get this in Revelation, because you watch certain of these guys like just like this guy Dave Hodges. I've done several videos on this guy and certain other of these individuals that are patriotic and they want to see America bounce back, and they see where America's headed. All right. And that's why the Spirit is on a lot of these guys to put some form of truth out there, because I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, they probably think that they're going to be some type of savior, putting this information out there, which through the Spirit, a lot of these guys, these truthers and whistleblowers, whatever the case may be, they put certain information out there to, like I said, for whatever reason, they might think that they are the savior, and they're coming up with this, when shit really does hit the fan and people start looking for answers, and these guys probably think in their mind like, yeah, we've been talking about this, so when it comes down to it, hey, you guys gotta come to me, come to us, whatever the case may be. I'm just speculating through the Spirit. They want to portray themselves to be the saviors and whatnot, whatever. But when it comes down to it, or when it boils down to it, man, the scriptures talk about how the Lord pouring out His Spirit upon all flesh, because a lot of these guys, they see for the most part the writing on the wall, and they can't put 2 and 2 together. They can't connect the dots. Well, that's the job of the prophets. That's what the prophets are here for. All right, to tell you, yeah, this is going on. We hear about such and such over here, and rumors and speculations over there. But this is, at the grand scheme of things, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to take place. Because a lot of these guys, these so-called truthers and whatever, all right, they see, like I said, for the most part, the writing on the wall, but they can't put the pieces together. They can't connect the dots. And again, that's the job of the prophets. All right. And again, all in all, to sum it all up, hey, America is through, because like I was saying, these guys, man, they try to push this energy, this vibe, like, listen, or basically this optimism this false sense of hope, like, man, if we band together, if we do this, if you buy a bunch of gold and silver, listen, when the dust settles, so to say, then we can bounce back. And that's for the most part the spirit of a lot of these guys are coming in. But listen, again, the job of the prophets, listen, that ain't happening. All right, that's not happening. There is going to be a nuclear fallout. There is going to be a nuclear Slovakia. There's going to be an economy collapse. All right, so on and so forth. You see, and all signs are leading, to that. Where again, it's the writing is on the wall. All right, America, aka Babylon, this place is through, and that's why I just through the spirit. I got 2 videos that I want to play. Lord willing, I'm gonna try to get through this as swiftly as possible. So without further ado, go ahead and get with this first video.
Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. Happy Thursday to you. If you filled up your car recently, you know what we're talking about. Your gas prices are up nationwide, almost $4 a gallon, a full $2 above where they were on Joe Biden's first day in office. Texas Congressman Brian Babin says that, quote, Joe Biden's war on domestic energy is absurd. The congressman is with us now. Congressman Babin, good morning. Great to see you. So the average price for a gallon of gas, $3.86.
Because, real quick, man, they talk about this war on energy, which pretty much started when Biden got in office, because going back to this guy, Donald Trump, and how he was basically trying to, quote unquote, make America great again. And although he was trying to, do certain things on the behalf of his people, his kind, his race, all right, on the behalf of the rest of these Babylonian Edomites, bringing jobs back and things of that nature. All right. When this guy Biden got into office, as soon as he got in office, man, he undid a lot of the legislation. I think because we do talk about how as far as the unprecedented times that we're in right now. And Biden, he was one of those to really conduct a lot of these. He did a lot of things that was again unprecedented. Because, like I said, as soon as Biden got in office, man, he undid a lot of legislations, reversed a lot of things that Trump did, which was again unprecedented. You see. Because again, while this guy Trump was trying to so-called make America great again, which to make America great again, it meant basically slavery for you Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. But nevertheless, although Trump was trying to do that, this guy Biden, man, hey, again, ever since he got in office, he was did this whole quote-unquote war on energy, whatever they want to call it, started when Biden got in office. Because it's all been a thing of trying to prey on the needs of the civilians, you Babylonians, right? Let me get this. In the book of Psalm, bear with me, because all of this is good. In the book of Psalm, it's like I'm in the wrong chapter. Which Psalm 64. That's what I was going through. That is a very good chapter, but what I wanted was in Psalm the 10th chapter. Psalm 10, and I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, "The wicked in his pride persecuteth the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined." All right. And that's the point. All right, the wicked, talking about Esau, Edom, the international bankers. All right, in his pride, because there's numerous scriptures that talk about Esau and how the Most High is not in his thoughts. All right. When it comes to these international bankers, they really do believe that the Most High doesn't see them. He doesn't know their thoughts, and even more so, on a deeper level, they think that the Lord isn't controlling their thoughts. You see, they think that they're just getting away scot-free with no type of intervention from Yahweh Shem Shai, right? And they're just, coming against, like I said, the poor, which is one of the code names of so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, because who stands up, who speaks on our behalf on these G summits? All right, who speaks on our behalf? If anything, you're not invited. We're not invited. All right. So who's speaking on our behalf? We don't have a standing army. All right. Hell, we don't even have our own homeland and whatnot. So, oftentimes the scriptures refer to us as the poor because we don't have nothing. Like the scriptures say, we are as worms, defenseless, hopeless, helpless. We don't got nothing but Yahweh Shem Shai. But nevertheless, Esau, he's going to prey off of, because he's carnal, he's going to prey off of that. You see, he's going to use that to his advantage. You see? Because with that being said, again, hey, the goal at the end of the day, at the end of all this, the grand scheme of things, is to get every so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian, West Indian, and Haitian to take that MOTB, because ultimately, it goes back to the covenant, the birthright, because the Lord said that, if Esau, if these top international bankers could actually indeed, just roughly paraphrasing for the sake of time, do certain things like do away with the ordinances and so on and so forth, then the Lord will do away with his people, and and Esau, Edom, the international bankers, the top wicked elites, man, they actually took the Lord on that bet. All right. So this is what this is all about at the end of the day. Trying to get the birthright back and trying to make the Most High a liar, and just so on and so forth. But it's not going to work. All right. But nevertheless, this is why going back to Psalm 10 and 2 again. The wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. All right. Because again, Esau, the top wicked elites, man, they're going to and we are seeing this more and more, and it's getting to a point where, hell, even Esau, because the top wicked elites, they're going to do everything in their power that the Lord has given them, all right, to make the Lord a liar, and and if that means destroying his own people, well, he's going to do that, and that's exactly what's happening. All right, and this is why, pursuant to certain chapters and scriptures like Isaiah 19, starting at verse 1, going into the Egyptian against Egyptian and the sedition among men and so on and so forth. Because these the average Edomites out here, all right, more and more they're getting cut off, more and more. They're starting to feel what it feels like to be on the bottom of the food chain, and because it's getting hard, it's getting tough, it's getting tight. Esau, he's putting the squeeze more and more. You see, because basically, these international bankers, man, they're backing everyone into a corner. All right, they're backing everyone into a corner. This is why rent is going up, gas prices are going up, everything is going up. Everything is going up except our wages. You see, and when it comes down to it, when it boils down, what it boils down to is, everyone's going to have to basically meant if you want to prolong your life just a little longer, because when Esau does come out with that solution, that's going to be the so-called cure to everyone's problems. Esau, he's going to promise. He's basically going to promise eternal life. He's going to promise immortality, and yeah, you're going to prolong your life a little longer, but just because you get away with Esau's judgment doesn't mean that you're going to get away with Yahweh Shema Shah's judgment, right? So playing on.
Nationwide, it's up around $5 in California right now, and this is real simple to understand. So Donald Trump's last day in office, if you filled up your SUV, 20-gallon tank, it would cost you just over $40 to fill that SUV up. Today, that same car is going to cost you over $80. Is that Bidenomics right there? That's Bidenomics in action. I was in California just a couple of months ago, and I was stunned to see how much gasoline was out there for those poor folks.
And like I said, this whole, ever since Biden got in office, it's basically been a war on energy. It's basically been a war on. It's basically been this thing of backing everyone into a corner. All right. You see, because when Trump was in office, we weren't paying more than $2, no more than $2 a gallon for gas. But ever since Biden got in office, now we're seeing close to $5 a gallon, and just all this again, just the price of everything's going up again, backing everyone into a corner.
That live there and don't agree with Bidenomics, but I can tell you, Rob, it doesn't take a genius to figure out why the price of gasoline keeps continuously going up under the policies of Joe Biden and the Democrats. The radicals have taken over that party. The radicals have made the policies. He's had a war on domestic energy. We're producing 1 million barrels less a day domestically, which is going to have an impact. He has depleted and put our strategic petroleum reserve at
1 billion barrels less a day. Okay, pay attention to these words, man.
Barrels less a day domestically, which is going to have an impact. He has depleted and put our strategic petroleum reserve at its lowest level in nearly a half a century, 40-something years. And then at the same time, our great friends in Saudi Arabia have teamed up with Russia to deliberately cut their energy output, I think, to hurt the United States. And now that we've got a depleted SPR, strategic petroleum reserve, Biden just simply cannot make the moves that he made before to keep prices artificially a little bit.
So you see, man, the strategic oil reserves are at the lowest that they have been in man, this is all, at the end of the day, is all a recipe for disaster, man. All right, it's all a recipe for disaster. And we might hear about certain of these things here and there, but people don't understand that this stuff eventually catches up. Eventually, we're going to start seeing the effects of all these things. All right, the strategic oil reserves being at its lowest since however long, and eventually we're already starting to little by little see the effects. This is why we see the price of gas going up, inflation, which soon is going to lead to hyperinflation, which I've been saying lately. The hell with hyperinflation. We're going to see super duper hyperinflation. All right, because hyperinflation is not something that's new. All right, it's not anything that's new. So that's why I say super duper hyperinflation, man. It's only a matter of time before we start really seeing and feeling the effects. More.
And so here we have it. We haven't seen the end of it, Rob. I can tell you that. It's going to continue to go up. He has absolutely gone after domestic production. And I don't think it takes another genius to figure out they really want higher prices on the Democrat side.
Yeah,
this is their intention.
Right. Congressman, I want to talk about impeachment. I know that you are for this if it gets to a floor vote. Karine Jean-Pierre on the defensive yesterday in the briefing room. Take a look. So that's pretty much it on that. It is pretty for the most part informative. The remainder of this video, and due to spirit, I'm gonna leave both links of both these videos that I'm playing. I'm about to play the second one in the description. You can check it out for yourselves. Because again, America is through. Just for time's sake. I am on a time crunch. America is through. Babylon is through. All right, let me get this real quick. And you see the attitude that these Babylonians that they have today. All right. Like the scripture said, there's no new thing under the sun. All right. All these ancient empires had the same attitude, especially going back to the ancient Egypt. Do you think that they thought in their minds, man, we can never go down? Because at that time, that was the greatest empire that the world has seen at that time. So do you think that they had the thought that, man, who can take us down? We can never go down. We can never be brought down. They had the same attitude that these Americans think these modern day Egyptians had today. But like all these ancient empires that ruled before, man, listen, the Lord allowed them to rule for a specific time, for a specific purpose. And America is no different. Because again, these Americans, they think that nothing can happen to America and we're just going to be living here forever. Man, listen, America has served its purpose. All right. Jeremiah 51 starting at 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And you see, because pursuant to Revelation 18, man, hey, listen. This place is going on long enough. All right. And I say long enough, but in the eyes of the Lord is, America and Esau at that has been allowed to rule for a short period of time. But of course, for us, it seems like it's been eternity. But it's ruled long enough. All right. They've been in power long enough. America has served its purpose, and it's time for her to be judged like all the ancient empires before. That's why verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So you see, man. All right. Yahweh Shema Shah has used America to fulfill a lot of, wickedness and just things. As far as the left hand of Yahweh Shema Shah. But hey, America again, she's used up, she's washed up, she served her purpose. America is known as the great whore. All right. And like all prostitutes, eventually they come to that point where it's just like, they're washed up. There's no use. There's no use. Just speaking as a man, let's be honest. All right. For the real men out there that want to be honest, let's be real. All right. A lot of us grew up watching certain porn flicks, pornos, and a lot of us, for the most part, we all had our favorite, actress, porn star, whatever, but that was in, the heat of our youth and whatnot. Now, when we see those same, porn stars and whatnot, it's just like, you almost, you are kind of, because I'm included in that, we kind of almost beat ourselves up almost, This might apply to some, this might apply to most. But we, those same porn stars that, we were head over heels for back then. All right, middle school, high school, whatever the case may be. We see him, nowadays, it's just like, man, what the hell was I thinking? You see? And hell, you might watch an interview here and there with these same porn stars or whatnot, and it's just, they will tell you themselves, like, man, basically, in not so many words, man, my time is up. I'm washed up, and you know, that's America, man. America, she's that horde that, everyone lusted after and everyone had a little taste of, and everyone was able to get a little piece. But now she's washed up, and you're no good to me anymore. All right. Because again, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shema Shah, he set America up for a specific purpose, and now she served her purpose. So now there's no use. There's no use for America anymore. There's no use for this whore anymore, man. She's through. All right, she's done. You see. But before I read this next precept, I'm gonna go ahead and play this next video.
With the Google Pixel 7 Pro, macro focus makes tiny details epic, and super red zoom gets you close-up quality from far away. Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here today. Well, the Federal Reserve and even large investment banks are calling off the recession, telling us that soft landing is in sight. We don't have to blindly believe what they publish. All you need to do is look at what's going on around you and compare it to the available data.
Because, like she just mentioned, all right, and as much as they want to put that out there, like America is in it for a land softening, man, listen. By the time your house shot comes, America's gonna already be on hospice, basically, man. America's already gonna be on his deathbed. All right, and it's just a matter of when your house shot comes, hey, he's just coming to deliver the knockout blow, man. Because Yahweh Shema Shah strategically from the inside out, and we touched on this a few weeks ago. Going into Alexander the Great, right? As well as Herod during the time of the Romans. How they caught some type of illness, and they felt ill, and basically from the inside out, they were rotten, because that's how the Lord operates. All right. He strategically brings you down from the inside out, exposes you and humiliates you, and that's what he's doing to America. Going back to the first video, hey, at this point, America has no use for these other nations, and that's why you hear about certain of America's biggest allies, especially when it comes to the major oil producing companies like Iran, Saudi Arabia, all right, and Iran, and they're basically doing away from Babylon to join the BRICS, and but I'm gonna get this in Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14. As a matter of fact, bear with me real quick, because there is a precept, and it might be in this chapter. It might be in this chapter. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't grasp it. Yep, it just came to me. And pull it up real quick, Lord willing, before it slips. Bear with me. Damn, Slovakia. Yep, I think this is it. Jeremiah, Lord willing. Jeremiah 51. Yep, this is it. The water Yabashimashah. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51:14. The Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. And basically, that's the point being that, caterpillars, again, as I've been bringing out with the Ecclesiastes 12:5 with the grasshopper, something's insignificant, something small as a grasshopper being such a problem, being such an issue. Well, Slakia, caterpillars, man, they tend to eat up everything, all the crops. They tend to consume everything, you know, and that's like to America, man. America, this place is just being consumed. It's just being consumed on all fronts, but more importantly, from the inside out. You see, going back to Isaiah 14, I just had it. Isaiah 14 in verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vowels. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Now, of the times when you see worms, oftentimes it's equated to something that's, in a decaying state, in a dying off state, something that's rotting away. You see, and that's America, because again, strategically from the inside out, and we see it physically. All right, all these damn potholes and all the decay when it comes to these buildings. It's just everything. When it comes to Esau and this and his empire, everything's decaying, everything's rotten. All right, everything's falling apart spiritually, mentally, physically. More and more we've been hearing about these sinkholes, and you see, that's where we are at with it, man. In the state of decay. And again, that applies in all sense. More decay, spiritual, and physical. Like I said, just when you're driving down the roads, man, hey, be careful with them potholes, man. You know, because again, Yahweh Shai, strategically from the inside out, he's destroying this place. He's bringing this place down. And like I said, it's just a matter of the Lord, by the time he does come, all right, this place is already going to be done. It's already done. It's just a matter of the Lord coming to deliver the Mike Tyson uppercut 1-2 boogie. You see, so go ahead and play on with this.
It won't take you too long to see that we, as a nation, as society, are on the brink of an event that will impact all of us. In today's video, I will share why we are about to experience one of the worst economic downturns ever. In the United States, total household debt just hit a record $17.1 trillion, and credit card debt crossed $1 trillion for the first time ever. I'm going to walk you through the key numbers that I believe you want to be aware of. If I had to describe the economic situation now, I would say that as a nation, we are fighting inflation with debt that we cannot afford. Before we begin, please make sure that you subscribe to my channels on YouTube and on Rumble. Support free speech. Rumble is a great platform. Like this video so more people see it, and check.
And Rumble and all these alternative webs, media sites that a lot of us have, turned to just to get around YouTube's algorithm. Listen, eventually it's going to come to a point where all of this is going to be done away with. All right, eventually all of it's going to be done away with. The prophets of Yahweh Shemar Shai are not going to be out on the highways and byways trying to give that stern warning forever, even during Jacob's trouble. No, it doesn't work like that. But nevertheless, as far as this, because this whole system is set off of debt, is based off of debt, a debt that is never going to be able to be repaid. you know. And where do you think that's going to leave the people? All right, American citizens with a debt that can't be paid. You see, that's why more and more, hey, we're gonna hear about the MOTB and so on and so forth.
My newsletter available on Substack. I would like to start with the illustration of where we stand today in terms of credit card debt versus our personal savings. This is a very important point that we need to be on the lookout for. So this is actually frightening. Revolving credit in the United States increased $10 billion in August to a record $1.27 trillion. On the other hand, the personal savings rate decreased to 3.5%, the lowest rate since November of 2022. Take a look. The green line is the savings rate. The red line represents the biggest driver of household debt in the United States, credit card debt. The gap between the two is becoming wider and wider on a monthly basis, as you can see. While consumer credit is rising at a record pace, credit card rates just hit a record 25%. People are borrowing at record high levels while saving at historically low levels. As consumers are becoming more desperate,
So you see, people are borrowing at a more higher rate versus people that are able to save. That's becoming that those numbers are becoming lower and lower. You see?
deplete their savings, and when that's not enough, they put everything on their credit cards with balances being carried over month after month. Recent research found that Americans will run out of their excess savings by the end of this fall. There's an entire video on my channel with more details. I will link it below if you're interested. But excess savings have declined by an average of $1 billion per month since January of 2022. The research concluded, should the recent pace of drawdowns persist, for example, at average rates from the past 3, 6, or 12 months, aggregate excess savings would likely be depleted in the third quarter. In reality, people are maxing out their credit cards while their income is being demolished by high prices. We are now at the point in time when household debt is surging, and so are delinquencies on that debt. Delinquencies are now increasing, and unfortunately, they will continue to go up as those with student loan debt will have to pay yet another bill every single.
So you see, man, I mean, Slakia, if it's going too fast and, it's just a lot of information. But like she mentioned with the delinquencies, because basically what, when you're going, for those that don't know, when it comes to the delinquencies, basically, man, well, let me just look it up real quick. All right, because this is becoming the new norm. This is the new situation. This is the new case. All right, as far as these delinquencies and just basically just people, taking up more and more debt and exert more and more of their savings. And like I mentioned before, it's getting harder and harder to live, to survive. You see, Esau, he's more and more, he's backing everyone into a corner, to the point where eventually it's going to get to the point where when Esau comes with the solution, the rest is history from there. But just look this up real quick. When it comes to just these delinquencies, all right, as far as, because you might have a delinquent son or delinquent, just a delinquent child in general, and it's just basically just a child that's just more and more, they're it gets to a point where, going back to the law, where you just have to eventually just bring them up to the judges of the gates, all right, and they got to be stoned to death, all right. But to apply it in a financial sense, all right, just look this up real quick. Bear with me. So I just looked up financial delinquency definition, and it says being delinquent refers to the state of being past due on debt. Delinquency occurs as soon as a borrower misses a payment on a loan, which can affect their credit score. Delinquency rates are used to show how many accounts in a financial institution portfolio are delinquent. So pretty much like I said, just people just more and more falling behind on debt, credit card payments, and you know things like that. That's becoming more and more of the new norm. You see, because going to this real quick, Psalm chapter 40. Psalm chapter 40, because again, this whole system is based off of debt, man. All right, this whole system is designed to keep mainly, specifically, Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians on the bottom. All right. So in Psalm chapter 40 in verse 2, he brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay. You see, and you try to, if you're stuck in some miry clay, man, you try to fight against that, you're only going to hurt yourself more and more. You're only going to, it's like sinking sand. The more you try to fight against it, the more you're going to sink. The further you're going to sink, And that's like this system. And the more you try to, I'm going to just take out this loan and I'm going to do such and such and whatever the case may be, the more you're just going to hurt yourself, man. So again, he brought me up also out of an horrible pit. And again, this pit, which is likened unto this system, because this whole system is based off of debt, like the scriptures say, man. There's another scripture that talks about that miry clay, all right, that abayat. This whole system is designed to keep you Israelites in debt. It's designed to keep you down. It's just like Jake can't catch a break out here, man, no matter what Jake does. But it's cold because, hey, pursuant to Deuteronomy 37, right? Hey, more and more Jake is finding ways around the system, because I'll just say this on a little, as a little, side note, man. Hey, because I've been doing a lot of orders and stuff, man, and, I'm gonna tell you, man, I go to a lot of these fancy neighborhoods, gated communities, three-story houses and whatnot, and you would think that you see Edomites there, man. But come to find out, is for the most part, more and more nowadays, it's Jake living in those communities, man. Those gated communities with they got the fountain, the water fountains in the middle of their drive-throughs and what, the middle of their yards and whatnot, the driveways and whatnot. You would think it's Esau, Edomites living in these type of communities, but it's more and more Jake's, because Jake is finding ways around the system. And if anything, it's more Esau, it's more Edomites starting to catch hell, man. Starting to get caught up in the system. That's why, like I mentioned earlier, hey, that's why we're gonna start seeing Isaiah 19, sedition among men, Egyptian against Egyptian, because Esau, these Edomites, I'm not talking about these average Edomites out here, man. They're starting to fail. They're not getting a piece of they're not getting a piece of the American pie like that, like how they used to, and they don't like that shit. Inside joke. I don't like that shit. I don't like that. These Edomites, they don't like that shit. And somehow Jake is finding ways around the system, man. And now you see Jake around here, living in the suburbs. Somehow Jake is because at one point for a long time it was Jake being the last one hired, first one fired. Now it's the opposite. All right, Jake is getting hired first. It's crazy. It's beautiful at that. I don't say that in a negative sense. It's beautiful because again, pursuant to Deuteronomy 37. You see. But I'm gonna go ahead and play. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play some more of this.
Month. In just several weeks, student loan payments on $1.6 trillion of debt will resume. Delinquencies on auto loans, credit cards, and consumer loans just hit their highest levels since 2012. In our current environment, the Fed's rate hikes coupled with increasing prices created a perfect storm that contributed to delinquency rates rising. There's a very high likelihood that as the labor market continues to cool, which it will, there's no doubt about that, so as the labor market cools, more and more people will find themselves out of jobs or with very limited income and no opportunity to supplement it. And so they will fall behind on monthly payments, causing more delinquencies. Now, I want to draw your attention to a very interesting and important fact. According to the Federal Reserve, banks' willingness.
Now, because again, just for the sake of time, I'm pressed on time, man. Again, watch the rest of this video. You know, she brings out this good, some good points. Because with all that being said, you got damn, I forgot the term for it, but basically, because again, people in general, a lot of these Americans, average Americans in general, man, they're relying more and more on borrowing just to barely survive, right? But it's getting to a point where it's getting so bad that a lot of these banks and these institutions where, they're like, hey man, we can't loan any more money, man. We just can't do it anymore. All right. A lot of these banks and institutions that are, that people will go to in reliance to, borrowing money, that's coming to a stop. That's coming to an end. All right, because when you really dig deep into this, man, it's a whole how do I say it? It's a whole and I've used this before, man, in the past. Like, it's a whole, so to say, chain of command. All right, it's a whole chain link. All right, and basically, if you disrupt one of these chains, let's say you have 50 chains on this one link, and it just keeps the whole operation flowing. All right, there's one leak, but it requires 50 chains, right, to keep the whole link operating smoothly. Well, if you disrupt one of those chains, everything's gonna go to shit. Everything's gonna go to shit, and that's pretty much this whole system of things. Because again, when you get into this topic, when it comes to finances and economics and things of that nature, man, this rabbit hole goes deep. All right, and like I said, it's getting to a point where a lot of these, banks and institutions that are, so willing to loan out money, and you got the borrowers, and that's why mentioned with the delinquency and how the delinquency rates going up. And listen, it's that's affecting these banks and these institutions that are so used to giving out money, loaning out money, and it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. All this shit is getting ready to come crashing, man. It's this again. This place is through. It is through. It's finished. All right. It's to the point where even these banks, man, and these institutions, they're like, listen, we can't loan y'all any more money, man, because hey, we're suffering. We're catching hell, man. We can't. There's nothing we can do for you, man. A lot of these banks and institutions, they're saying no. All these people and this is a lot of these patriotic Edomites, these middle class Edomites, and listen, they're like, no, we can't help you. And this is why we starting to see more and more of these what do you call it, bank shit, what is it called, damn, I forgot the term for it. But basically, man, these banks, man, they're starting to with these crunches, man, this is why we're gonna start seeing more and more of these bank runs, and more and more banks starting to shut down, and people just losing money. People's money, people that got all this money saved up in their banks accounts overnight, they're gonna be vanishing. It's gonna be a shit storm. Like I said, it's the perfect recipe for disaster, man. This shit is gonna, man. Do your research, because this shit, like I said, this rabbit hole, it gets deep. And this shit is gonna blow over, man. Oh man, we can't wait to see it. Like the movie V for Vendetta. I haven't seen that in some years. I gotta watch that again because you know the Apostle THRU, he mentioned it. He mentions it every now and then. All right, but I gotta watch that movie again. But there's one scene, exactly one scene that I remember, where, you know, the guy, he was sitting in the background and he was just waiting for the, you know, the shit to just pop off, and you know, eventually, hey, you saw the explosions, and you know, eventually everything just went boom, you know, and that's us in the spirit. We're just waiting for this shit to just blow over, man. We're just waiting for this shit to explode, man. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, man. Like the scriptures talk about how, yeah, Mektesh, roughly paraphrasing, man, the stock market, all that shit. Oh, man, this is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. You know, but I'm going to go ahead and go back to this before I end it off in Jeremiah 51. Because this shit is going to be ridiculous, man. It's going to be redonkulous. Man, the blowback, man, I'm going to get this in Jeremiah. Go back to Jeremiah 51:7 again. Babylon hath been a golden cup of the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. So you see, man, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's used America, set America up for a specific purpose. And there's no more use for her, man. America's through, right? Because again, unlike these people, all right, they think that America's just going to be here forever. And listen, the writing is on the wall. All right, this place is through. That's why verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her palm. Slakia. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone unto his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky. So you see, because a lot of these heathens, Moab, Ishmael, and them, that have set up shop over here and made money and, you know, prospered off of, you know, because Babylon is a merchant city, you know. You know, a lot of these nations came over here to make money, but there's no more money to be made. All right, a lot of these nations, they see the writing on the wall and they're packing up shop and they're going back home. All right, because again, the writing is on the wall. You see, there's no more money to be made here, and this place is through. All right, this place is through, man. You know, and there was no, and we told people going back to 2020, 2021, parts of 2022, when they were giving out all them stimulus checks and so on and so forth. Hey, we told you people, hey, listen, all these stimulus checks and so on and so forth, man, that's going to come back to bite America in the ass, man. And I remember telling people, listen, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you start seeing, you know, the price of things going up. And that's exactly, man, just through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, man. You know, we've all been telling these people what the deal is through the spirit of the Lord, man. As many Yahweh Shema Shai, as the ambassadors of Yahweh Shema Shai. We've been telling these people, man, don't be surprised, man. And we're still telling people because, hey, you think it's bad now, you just wait. You know, at one point, a gallon of milk was, what, $2? Now the shit's almost $6, man. Come on, man. And we're still telling you people, like, hey, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. The time's going to come when, hey, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be, a gallon of milk is going to be $100 a gallon, man. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Gas. Soon, gas is going to be 12, 15, 20 bucks a gallon. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You know, we told you people and we're still telling you people, man. And again, like the spirit has me say, hey, don't be surprised if you wake up. Because like I just mentioned here, the sudden destruction, suddenly, all of a sudden this shit's going to happen. It's going to be like, man, what the hell happened? You know, we were just last night we were partying. No, man. Suddenly, destruction is going to come. Suddenly, judgment is going to take place, man. You know, but hey, man, I felt I've talked enough. I've rambled enough. Hey, Lord willing, this was edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai. And you know, again, Lord willing, you know, check both these videos out. If I remember, Abaratazah, the videos, the links to these videos will be in the description. All right, so shalom to you. Hopefully, Lord willing, into the next one. Shalom.